Happy Tuesday. This is Pastor John Miller. Today I want to read to you the introduction to my new book. It's called Two Men, One Soul, Grace, Sin, and the Wesleyan War within Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It's a close-up of it. You can see it there. It's a book that takes the story of Jekyll Hyde and adds a spiritual twist to it. I'm just going to read the introduction to you today. Come back on later and read some chapters to you. So, two voices, one door. Every generation tells itself the story of the divided man. Robert Louis Stevenson told it in 1886 in a fog-bound London, where a respectable doctor discovers that the quickest way to sin without consequence is to give sin its own name. Isn't that interesting? Its own face, its own front door. He called the story The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And he likely did not intend to write a theology. He intended to write a chiller. He succeeded at both. I took his story and made a theology out of it. Nearly a century and a half later, an Anglican priest named John Wesley stood in fields and chapels across England preaching the very thing Stevenson's novella would later dramatize: that the human heart, left to itself, is not basically good with occasional lapses. It is bent. It is bent toward its own will, its own appetite, its own glory, and this bending has a name older than psychology. Scripture calls it sin. Wesley called it, following his tradition, original sin. And Wesley did not only diagnose it, he preached it with equal conviction that grace could undo it. Not partially, not someday, but really in this life, through the new birth, on toward what he called Christian perfection or entire sanctification. His younger brother Charles put some conviction into the song, sometime in the neighborhood of 6,500 hymns across his lifetime, more than perhaps any other writer in the English language. Where John preached the doctrine, Charles sang the testimony. Long lived my imprisoned spirit, he wrote of his own conversion. Fast bound in sin by nature's night, my chains fell off, my heart was free. He was not writing about Henry Jekyll, but he might as well have been. Why these two sources, and now a third? This book places Stevenson's public domain novella alongside John Wesley's sermons, Charles Wesley's hymns, and in 4 dedicated doctrine chapters, the writings of early church fathers, Irenaeus, Clement of Alexandria, Tertullian, and Chrysostom, all likewise in the public domain. Wesley himself did this. He read and cited these very writers to show that what he preached was not new doctrine, but the ancient faith of the church recovered. Stevenson gives us the mirror. John Wesley gives us the diagnosis. Charles Wesley gives us the response, sung rather than argued, and the early church fathers give us the witness that none of this began with the Wesleys. It began with apostles, and the church has carried it ever since. How each chapter works. Every chapter follows the same pattern. The scene retells the relevant portion of Stevenson's novella. Wesley speaks and Charles Wesley sings. Set doctrine and hymn beside the story. 4 chapters devoted to doctrine and the ancient voice, a passage from an early church father. The bridge connects all of it to the reader's own life, followed by why this matters today. Application, ask the pastor, and a second hymn, reflection questions, and a closing prayer. Jekyll believed transformation could be bought in a bottle, achieved once and kept private. Wesley preached, and his brother sang, that the fathers before him taught that real transformation is neither instant nor private. It is in the slow, gracious work of God, remaking a divided heart into one. This is the argument of this book. Pastor John Miller, Spencer, West Virginia. I'll come on here later and read some more to you, but that's the premise of it. You can get it on Amazon. This is not a buy this book video. It's if you're struggling with this Jekyll Hyde syndrome or know somebody that is, this book might help them. Might give you some answers. It might give you some peace. God bless you and have a great day.